go on to number 4 here. So we're gonna need the new sauce. You
sauce.
guys are absolutely gonna love this stuff.
I hope so. It looks good.
It is. Wait till you open and smell it.
I can't smell shit right now.
Should we be sharing anything to him? He may
No,
have
that's just allergies.
He might have the Rona. His kid hasn't been out since Rona, so.
That's not true. It hasn't been out since Georgia, though. That was
smells good.
over a year old.
Any accomplishments and or roadblocks from returning? You guys mentioned that you wanted to talk about, like reasons why you haven't been able to come back, and or like any major accomplishments.
Why'd you put the lid back on that?
Oh, because I was trying to wipe it off because it's got stuff coming off.
It didn't have stuff coming off until you put the lid on it.
Well, that's how it works. You want to go first on this one since I went first on the last one?
Yeah, sure. Well, I gotta wait for my sauce.
That's true.
Oh shit!
Yeah, it came
that
out.
was running. A lot more running than I thought. Than I remember.
You've done this like how many times recently?
I know.
I just like to pour some out for myself so I can keep on dipping in it.
Yeah, that one's good. It's sweet.
It's definitely sweet.
It's sweeter than I expected.
Yeah.
Damn, that almost reminds me of like a Big Mac sauce.
Yeah, almost.
Now that I think about it.
That's good. Holy shit. I'm not going to tell you whatever the question is. You're too busy eating. All right. What was the question? All right. My old man brain.
All right. Well,
Accomplishments and or why I couldn't. Right.
from returning.
So, I also have a theory I want to add into this about how some of our members fade kind of away from the team. We have some obviously who don't make it for whatever reason, whatever happens. Differing of opinions, differing of whatever. Being a two-faced person that that comes out or whatever. But I feel like a lot of people who join G2 see the success of some of the other people that are on the team and do better, want to better themselves. So they move up in whatever way possible, changing jobs, getting promotions, joining the military to, write whatever's, whatever, like they're always doing something to try to better themselves. And I feel like a lot of G2 does that. And that basically happened to me. I was a welder when, was I already a welder when I joined G2? No.
No.
Yes, I was.
Right.
Yeah, because I left Walmart right before COVID. I think we had just played our first game. I left because I was leaving to go to Coil Plus.
Yeah.
And
right before COVID hit.
so, but I was already a welder at this point. But I would because I had experience as a supervisor. One, I was offered to be a manager of a welding crew on its second shift, and things happened. Basically, it was like in the industry kind of goes up and down, and we lost not only lost the contract but lost the quotas, and had to cut back. But this is not running together as well as I thought it would in my head. Basically, a lot of people who aren't around that are still part of the team are because they've gone off to do things. Like Thor went off to be a pipe welder. He's up in here and there.
He had a good opportunity to do that.
Right. Wesley is doing his leatherworking. I've been continuing to try to get myself further and further on and away from the job that took me away from the team.
Yeah, they were running you ragged.
Yeah. Steve's always working to get further up the ladder so that he's, eventually going to be the CEO of Walmart.
Yeah, he's just about right there.
he's on his way. Multiple people have, they're still on the team that are doing things for themselves. That being said, now.
Well, to add to that, like here with Luke, he just won that presidential debate thing.
Yeah.
And the one thing he says in here is, it's been crazy. I'm sorry, Luke, for sharing this if you didn't want me to, but I'm only going to share part of it. He says, oh my God, it's been a crazy fucking run. Campaigning for election office is honestly probably one of the most stressful things I've ever done in my life. The feeling of victory last night after all the hard work made it all worth it. I tell you though, I've gotten hundreds of congratulation messages, but yours on Facebook and now me texting him really means more than all of them. I truly appreciate it. You've always inspired me to be more, which is what I think G2
Case in point.
does.
That's what I'm saying. Case in point. Like, when you're part of G2, you almost feel like you have to better, you're constantly trying to better yourself, not in like a forced way, but you just feel by being around all the people that are on the team who are generally good people and are generally pushing to better themselves as well, you feel like you should. You want to, like, naturally want to better yourself.
Yeah, when you're constantly doing it, it just becomes
Part of
habit.
it. Yeah, it just becomes part of it. So, that being said, I was a welder for a company called Lippert. Still love the company. I don't work for them anymore, but it's nothing to do with the company, kind of.
Well, their building burnt down.
Well, so I was up in Jackson Center producing. We were welding and producing the chassis for the Airstream campers. Like I said, I was for a short period of time the supervisor of the second shift, the whole team really. They spooled up a whole new team just so we could keep up with the quota, and then unfortunately something happened over at Airstream and they had to cut the numbers, so we had to let my team go. Most of them. I was able to keep a couple of them, but it was.
Yeah, but the fact of the matter is that they ended up keeping you.
Well, we hadn't even gotten to the fire yet. That was just
for a long time.
Right. So, a couple months later, and this whole time I'm still actively coming down to. This is when we're still at Battlegrounds. I'm still coming down every weekend. I'm working 50, 60 hours up there, and then coming down on every Saturday, Sunday, basically, at Battlegrounds. But I was home every night there, and then the fire happened. We know kinda who's at fault, but not really.
Yeah.
It's hard to really say who's technically at fault. One supervisor should have taken care of it. The plant manager also should have taken care of it. But pointing fingers on it is kind of like, it doesn't matter at this point. But basically, the paint booth caught fire overnight and burnt a good portion of the internals of the building down, completely gutted. Like all the hydraulic lines for our lifts. The paint booth was a complete loss. It was $1 million paint booth. Basically just washed. And at that point, yes, some people were let go because it was kind of like, well, one, we were all asked, would you be willing to go to Indiana and work? And it was kind of like, yes, but not really. And this was the beginning of when I had to start stepping back because I was never home at that point. Like,
oh yeah,
for 4 months, I was literally driving to Indiana,
yep,
working all week, coming home, and I was exhausted at that point because I had spent all week training the people up in Indiana on how to build the Airstream chassis, as well as building them with them. So not just physically demanding, but also mentally demanding, and then driving the 6-hour round trip, which isn't a lot in the grand scheme of things, considering where the story is going.
you had to leave to go there one day and then come back the next.
Well, I'm saying, but
your weekends consisted basically of travel.
Right, but I'm saying the grand scheme of what's to come in the story, 6 hours, not that bad.
Oh yeah.
But so 4 months of doing that, and by the time that 4 months came to an end, I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. I want to be home. And they offered me to be a OEM tech, so I would work out of our old plant with one of the other one of the other assemblers that they had kept in Jackson Center to do the on-site repair for any of the Airstream chassis that were made incorrectly. So we were doing that. We did that for a month. But at this point, basically, all the rest of my former coworkers, except for me and this other guy, had been let go, either fired or just like, we don't need you anymore.
Yeah.
Thanks for your time. If you don't want to move up here, thanks for your time. We pretty much all got offered. Some of us, not everybody, got offered to move up there. I didn't want to move. Obviously, I had G2. I had just bought a house from somebody.
Yeah.
That helped fund a field.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to move. There's no one, obviously, I would never have been able to get another loan that quickly after having just gotten a loan. That happened 4 months after I bought the house, the fire.
Yeah.
4 months.
Yeah.
That's not happening. And so I'm back in Jackson Center doing the OEM tech, and like a month into that, I get a call. I'm like, hey, everything's fine, but we don't really need 2 OEM techs. Do you want to be an aftermarket service tech? And I'm like, what does that entail? Oh, you'll have to do a little bit more traveling, but it won't be too bad. Okay, sure. I'll give it a shot. We'll see how it goes. But it won't be too well. Okay, so I spent like another month driving back and forth between Ohio and upper northern Indiana. Again, that's 6-hour round trip drive for training purposes. And then I get my truck, and then I proceed to drive all over the eastern side of the country for 2.5 years.
Yeah,
something like that.
Yeah, something like that. Some of your days are like 12 hours of
well,
driving.
no, so I was on
stuff.
DOT with in my truck. I was restricted. My days could be no longer than 14 hours, but I was only allowed to drive 11 hours. I'd get up Monday morning at like 6 o'clock in the morning, get myself loaded into the truck, and hit the road. And I may get to my first job Monday, but generally not. Generally, the way my service writer would do it, she would send me out to my furthest away job, and I'd slowly work my way back. So my first job may not be till Tuesday afternoon, 17 hours worth of driving.
What I still find crazy about that is that it was cost effective to pay you to do all that driving than to just hire someone local.
Oh man, I could get into how much I debated with him over the cost effectiveness of what they were doing with a lot of their stuff.
Yeah, I mean, there was definitely, again, having some experience in Walmart and having been a supervisor there and at the plant at Jackson Center and knowing some of these number things, there were definitely times where I was like, this is stupid. What are we doing? Why am I driving from Ohio all the way down to North Carolina when there is a tech in Florida? Now, granted, he's also got a schedule, so it's not like he's just waiting around for a job, but like North Carolina was way further south than it would have been for him to go a little bit further north. And I'm not sure why that job landed in my lap versus his lap. There were some issues on some of the things. There was also one specific instance, like I know you're probably thinking of, where I was in West Virginia. That's where I was, and I got a call because one of the guys I had been working with, we had been up in Vermont, and something happened. Apparently that
well, real quick, with them paying you to like go to these other jobs and stuff that were like such a long distance away, who was actually footing the bill of that? The place you went to go weld for, or the company you worked for?
It didn't go into the customer.
Some
of it.
Well, a little
sure.
column A, a little column B, really. Also a little column C, because it'd be a little bit of, depending on what it is, we would foot it. There was plenty of times where someone wrote a check their mouth.
Were you doing like
cash.
Warranty stuff?
Yeah,
or?
I was doing warranty. I was doing
Okay.
aftermarket. I was doing all kinds of stuff. So
Gotcha. Okay.
insurance jobs. That's what I'm saying. It's a little bit of all these different columns, because like sometimes the insurance is paying for it. Sometimes it's the customer out of pocket, because we're talking about one. We're talking about some pretty big RVs, and if they own these big RVs, they got cash.
Yeah.
They're not so worried about it. There was obviously some jobs where the people didn't have the money, and they were definitely more reliant on the insurance. You keep you getting distracted by my watch
A little bit. So I was like, that's kind of cool.
And then there were some cases where somebody wrote a check with their mouth that they had no intentions of cashing, and now we were stuck with it. Like someone just couldn't keep their mouth shut and said something too much, and now we were on the hook for it. So it was a little bit of all the columns, and I literally had jobs as far north as Maine and as far south as almost South Carolina. I don't think I ever actually made it to South Carolina, and as far west as Iowa.
But now you're part of the post office,
Yeah,
right?
So after getting absolutely sick and tired of being on the road, like just getting into my truck gave me depression. Like just thinking about it would make me nauseous.
You'd be gone for the entire week.
The entire week. I would
you still
leave.
have cats at home and stuff, so you'd have people come over and take care of them while you're gone.
I would leave Monday
you bought
morning.
This new home that you get to only visit for
2 days
maybe
a week.
24 hours.
I literally, until I finally managed to get off the road, I probably had only lived in my house. Like actually lived in my house up until April is when I finally got off the road. Probably a total of maybe 7 months. And I'd been in that house 2 years at that point. Mm-hmm. I had a good 4 months before the fire. And then from that point on, it was just, I'll be home when I'm home. And yeah, I guess I'd be home for the weekend. I literally, not even some cases, I'd get home Saturday sometimes because of just drive time. I would be stuck. And
No surprise instances with the house with having to be gone for so long? Like, I don't know, just stuff
no,
breaking or anything?
nothing really got broken.
Because I built it.
Yeah,
He can't even clog the
I
toilet.
can't even plug the toilet. And I've done that in some places.
Yeah, I don't think
Wisconsin.
there's, unless it's going to get clogged in the actual toilet, which I can't make, it's probably not going to happen because I made sure I had a big enough pipe on there for you.
I've tried. There's been a couple times I look down like, this is the one. Damn it. Yeah, no. The house has been great, and that was part of it. Was like, one, I didn't want to be on the road anymore. Two, I wanted to live in my house, and I basically had lost my life because of this job at this point. Like, I wasn't able to get down to the field anymore. It consumed everything. I would get home. Again, like I was talking about, it's a 6-hour round trip driving up to Indiana and back, but being up there all week. 6-hour round trip, not that big of a deal. However, driving to Maine and slowly working my way, and it's not like a direct line back. Like I was hitting every single job between Maine and Ohio. I'd be going like Maine all the way down to like New York, and then maybe all the way down to like New Jersey, and then maybe northern PA, and I'm just like all up and all the way down and working my way home.
Gave you no time to hang out with friends.
No, I literally...
Family.
Yeah, I literally didn't get to see any of my friends or family unless it was a special occasion, and I was like, or I was on vacation.
How'd they work out like holidays and stuff? Did you have those off? I can't remember.
No, not really.
Not really. You had them off in the hotel room that you were staying
Pretty much, yeah.
at?
I was living in hotel rooms, yeah.
Sometimes not.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
You got holiday pay and stuff for that?
Yeah, I mean, like I'm pretty sure I was home for every Christmas, but like only because like I'd get home just before Christmas, and I'd be off Christmas Day, and then
Back on the road
back
the
on the
next
road
day.
day. Yeah, like I was living out of that truck. That's why I hated that truck. Like,
Your butt imprint was pretty well in there.
Oh.
I burnt a hole in that seat a couple times too.
I bet. So, but now you work at the post office.
But yeah, I left that. I was doing something else for a very brief time, and that place lied to me about my conditions of employment, and I don't play around with that. Like I got a mortgage. I got things I want to do with my life. That's not gonna work. So I had a friend who worked at the post office who had been talking to me even before I left Lippert, who was like, "You should come work at the post office. They pay about what you're making, and you'll be home every night." And I was like, but with the caveat of like, yeah, I work a lot. I work a lot of days. So like right now, obviously, I'm still working into the new schedule. I work 6 days a week. But like,
what do you mean by working into the new schedule?
well, I just mean like I went from Monday through Friday to now I'm working like because our schedule is a little bit more fluid at the post office. Like I'm getting used to, it's not really fluid. I do have a set day off, but like getting used to it again. Like I spent the past 2.5 years on the road, and I've been at the post office now for 3.5 months, but because my schedule hasn't really been solid yet because of the holidays, things are just moving around.
Yeah, pretty chaotic.
Yeah, I haven't really had a chance to get really dug into my schedule, get used to it enough to be able to like really know where my time is going to be able to get out to the field. Obviously, I have actually made it out to the field twice. Yeah, twice.
Yeah, twice.
Since getting to the post office.
I mean, he's late, but he makes it there.
Look, I'm not going to be there at opening. I'm
doesn't want to
working.
wake up that early on his day off.
No, it's not my day off. I'm working.
Oh yeah, that's right.
I'm working.
Yeah.
But now that I'm actually on the opening part of the schedule, I can, when I get off at hopefully 10 or 1, I can make it out to the field. Directly from work.
On those Saturdays, is it because of the holidays that were around?
No, that's my normal schedule.
schedule?
That's a normal thing because the post office actually does a lot of work.
Doesn't sound like a good job. No, he's gonna have to change professions again.
I mean, if somebody would just make a bunch of money and could offer me a job,
Hey, I'm working on it.
You would solve a lot of problems.
I'm working on it. I really am.
I know you are. Just gotta get that dig right back if you're gonna dig at me. Turnabout's fair play. But yeah, so that's where I've been. That's why anyone who used to be at Battlegrounds obviously would probably recognize me. I was there almost every day we were open. I think the only person who was there more than I was Darren and Angie. And pretty much about it.
I think I've only missed 3 days, 4 days out of the 7 years.
Yeah.
So
Like at Battlegrounds, I was
2 or 3
there.
days from vacation one day because I was sick with COVID.
Yeah, at Battlegrounds, I was there every Saturday, Sunday, except for a couple. Either I was sick or I had something else planned or whatever it was. But
Yeah.
I was at Battlegrounds every day. And then the Huber thing happened. Parker's was way far away, and like again, as I said, I was defeated by that. I just didn't really want to drive down that 2 hours. I came down a couple times, but like it was definitely not.
I must have missed this. What's this with the Parker's Field thing?
Was it Parker's? Not Parker's.
You're talking about Fallen Warrior.
No, not Fallen
Pike.
Warrior. Pike.
Oh, Pike.
Not Parker's. I think I said Parker's.
I think we ran 2 events out there.
I don't remember.
2 major events. We did several open plays.
I think I made it to like one or
Well, I thought we just
a
went
couple
and played
things that
there
we
or
went
something.
out and played. Yeah.
I think I made it to like 1 or 2 of the times we went down to play there. I don't think I made it to any of the events. I was down there like when we were first.
I was team captain for one of those events.
Yeah, I went down there for like one of our like when we were starting the
memories.
Oh yeah. I remember that one. Yeah,
when the other team was cheating.
You cheating, yeah. But like when we were first starting that collaboration up with them, I remember going down there and like touring the field with you and I'm blanking on his name now. The owner of the field.
Bobby.
Bobby. I was gonna say it's B, but I can't remember what his name is.
Yeah, Bobby.
And I remember that, but like I never got down there very often. Again, it was a far drive down there, and at that point, I was on the road, so like I didn't want to get in my car.
It's a long drive.
And drive down there after having spent all day on the
Yeah, it's
on the week of the truck.
2.5-hour drive.
Yeah.
At least.
So that was definitely part of the reason why I wasn't down there very much. And then obviously I was already very much on the road when we rolled into Hidden Springs. Got it right this time. So like yeah, like I've been down there a couple times as I could. I know I did like one EOD event there. That was the time Golem and I got lost in the woods because I had no idea how the field were, like where anything on the field was. I had spent very little time there helping build, and now I was like, all right, you're gonna go, you and Golem are gonna be EOD, and I'm like, I hope you know where we're going, Josh, because I don't.
He didn't read the task op.
It wasn't even that. Like I was looking at the map, I'm like, I'm not 100% sure where we are on this map because I don't know where anything is.
I mean, it's such a big field. It's hard.
Well,
to
it
really is.
But like also, I had no idea where any of the landmarks were because I'd only been down basically Camp Victory working down there. I had no idea what was once you got into the woods. Really, it was either down by Camp Victory or up at the top. That's all I really knew. Everything in between I hadn't really seen. So when we were actually on the field doing our EOD thing, they're like, all right, we need to come here to go blow up this mortar. I'm like, I don't know what the fuck it is.
Dude, we had one guy, he got lost. Ended up on on that Tecumseh Road, the one that S's around.
Oh no.
I was like, you guys need to be bringing your phones for GPS.
That's what I was having to do. I was like, I had put my phone out when we were walking. I'm like, all right.
The service though out there is
That-a-wish?
spotty in certain parts of that that field.
Yeah.
Because I remember we were watching. I was watching the last few episodes of like one of the Stranger Things. I think it was the first season, maybe the second season. I can't remember, but it had just come out one of the days that we camped out in all our trucks and stuff like that. Down, I don't think you were there.
That was was that the first event?
The first, yeah, we camped out right before the first event.
I wasn't there for that.
No,
but
you came
I remember
to the event.
hearing about it.
Yeah.
I remember hearing about it.
Yeah. And
Knocking
so
stuff
I was
over.
trying to watch it, and my internet connection my wireless kept on going out.
Yeah.
That reminds me that you guys weren't there for, but Trippy lost his damn keys, and he had an air tag on it.
Oh no!
But it had only updated 2.5 hours ago. And apparently, it connects with Bluetooth or whatever.
Yeah.
So we're like walking around just hoping like we get within range of it. Eventually, he found it. We were out there for like 2 hours looking. So what about with you? Accomplishments in Roadblocks?
Oh well, the Roadblocks.
Lazy. That's all it is.
Yeah, pretty much. I can't say anywhere my issues with coming are anywhere near to the same level as you. Honestly, it's just I've been salary manager with Walmart for a number of years, and that stuff, schedule wise, like I work a lot of weekends and
Pretty much all of them.
Yeah, like I get one full weekend off in my rotation. A lot of that time I have my daughter, so there's just there's not a lot of time, honestly, to come out when everything's kind of done on a particular day in the weekends. So there's that. But even still, since sort of being around last, there's been several accomplishments through that. I became a master mason.
There, guitar Colt.
Became a master mason, and also became a widow son. I got my motorcycle license.
Yeah, I was gonna say you're part of that motorcycle club, right?
Yeah, the Riders Association. We've done a bunch of charity work over the last year. Really, really proud of those guys. It's kind of the same sort of deal of what G2 is, right? You surround yourself with people that want to better themselves, and it's just another good group of folks that really work hard on bettering themselves and helping better the people around them, and
Yeah, you're creating that high tide that raises all ships, type deal.
100%. So, whether it's I've had gotten the opportunity with work to go out and do a lot of training and things along those lines, which does the same thing. And I've had many opportunities over this last year. With that, I've had many opportunities. I've recently became the senior steward for my lodge in Arcanum. So it was kind of a voluntold thing, but
it's kind of like also being voluntold that you're the high performing manager,
the hypo for the market, yeah. Funny Roadblocks, because the head of our lodge and one of the folks on the legacy, our previous past president for Hiram's Legacy, his road name is Roadblock. So, some of the roadblocks.
You tell him to stop being one.
Yeah.
That's what we need is try to get some of them down to the field.
I told him, I said, oh man, you're here again. He stopped by my work the other day, and he's like, oh man, you're here again. Like, my entire job is removing you from places. Like, it's because I'm just supposed to remove roadblocks for the associates, right? So, so there's been a lot that I've had the opportunity to do over the last year outside of GT that's just been really good. And I'm hoping this year, with planning out some of my time off ahead of time, things along those lines, I'll be able to make it out to some more stuff this year. So I still have a few days left to plan. So
yeah, I don't have any PTO right now because again, change jobs again. So restart that cycle all over again. But
that's crazy. But from now on, when you switch jobs, you should try to see if you can get the PTO included with that, because you're not 20 anymore.
You're not lying. Well, I mean, if the one nice thing about it is they're pretty, like, because there's only a small group of us that are part of, as a clerk or clerk class or however it exactly works. There's only a couple that I really have to compete with, and as long as that weekend's open and I have the time, it's there. But also because I'm usually out, hopefully as long as the schedule holds, I'll be off by 10, at latest 1 o'clock. I can definitely get out and at least be there. Maybe not necessarily play or admin or whatever, but I can still be there and be part of the team.
Yeah.
And that's the hope. Now that I'm actually home every night, it can happen. Hopefully. My luck, something will happen and I'll end up getting a shift that completely ruins that, but hopefully not.
Have anything else to add to that?
I'm good. Ready for the next one.
Let's get moving on.
Let's get this hotter truff sauce.
Is that as sweet as the last one was?
I think so. Yeah.
No, I'll be honest. I think all three of those first ones were hotter than that white truff. I mean, that white truff was really, really good.
Yes.
But
I would agree.
I think the sweetness really cut that one's spiciness. At least I don't remember. Maybe it's just been that long since we ate it, but like,
I just don't remember it being that sweet. But I don't know. Maybe it's something to do with the age or something.
It was really good though. I really liked that one.
So the next one is what you guys thought about the expectations of being on G2. Why some don't make it, which was what you kind of touched on a little bit, and